Hello, and welcome back to Hanksy Panksy Honor Among Reeves, a podcast where two dumb idiot best friends absconded with Tom Hanks, Dwayne Johnson, and are about to be absolutely mugged by Keanu Reeves. I'm Sam Siegel, and I'm stealing everything from your minibar.
Oh, and the shower, I assume.
Yeah. But
And
I focus on the minibar.
just the short shoehorns,
hmm I
not the
don't
long ones.
I don't have space for the long ones.
Yeah, in your luggage. I am Luke Patrick. This week I am Jesus.
You're Jesus.
I'm Jesus. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
hmm.
Um that gets dicey. No, I'm a guy in a big bubble in one of those like rolling
Yeah.
around
Yeah,
slamming
yeah,
into
yeah.
people like bubble thingies, bubble
Yeah.
experiences.
hmm
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, this week we watched 2018's Destination Wedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was the wedding for you?
The wedding was weddings are hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um this one got a little disrespectful. I can't remember another wedding at which I was on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Um it'd be a pretty bad sign if you're getting hitched and you look out into the audience, the crowd.
There's a guy on his phone, huh?
There's a guy just doom scrolling Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. Like, when is this gonna be over? Otherwise, Tubi.
Okay, Tubi.
I watched this on Tubi because it was free, and I didn't want to. I had a feeling that I didn't want to spend actual money on this one,
Right.
so I watched it on Tubi.
How is Tubi? Because it's the one that I refuse to use.
I've not used Tubi before either. I was surprised that my Roku had it.
Mm.
But there it was, hanging out in the same space as all the other shit that I use.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's got a pretty good intro. I'll say that.
Okay.
It
Can
goes
you
some,
describe it?
I can sing it.
Please do.
It goes something like to be.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's pretty pleasant. Um, Beyond that, my guy, ads. Just what are we doing with
Mm-hmm.
advertising these days?
Yeah, what kind of ads do you get served up?
I keep getting these pigeons. Have you seen the
The Geico
direct TV?
pigeons, yeah, with Retta and H. John Benjamin.
No, okay. So now we got a problem because I'm aware of now three different pigeon ads.
Okay.
Because you're talking about one that I've never seen.
Yeah, it's for I believe Geico.
Geico, because the Geico's got a pigeon ad with Retta.
Retta and H. John Benjamin as the pigeons.
Okay, I did see that one. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Um,
It's a classic pigeon ad.
yeah, so we've got one pigeon ad. Then there's a direct TV pigeon ad that has Henry Winkler and Steve Buscemi
Interesting.
as pigeons who are talking about the fact that they can't shit on the direct TV dish anymore
Mm,
because everybody's moving to digital. Uh,
this is new to me.
so I guess my question for Steve Buscemi
Mm-hmm.
and Henry Winkler is, y'all okay?
Here's how I think of it. You know, and I've thought about this for a long time.
Okay.
A lot of famous people are getting into the podcasting space.
Yes.
Because it's easy work, and if you're famous, it gets you some decent money, some walking
Yeah.
around cash. Fucking quit it, okay? Podcasting is the land of the poors, like us,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah. Broke
The
ass people.
the nobodies. That this is
Yeah.
this is our space, okay? And for these fucking famous celebos, as we all call them, coming into our house and sitting down in front of a microphone that we can't afford and recording the same stupid shit that we do. No, fuck off. Okay? No, no,
Yeah.
no. Absolutely not. Now, if they want to sit down in their home studio and
Yeah.
record a 30-second ad that's going to net them probably at least a cool six figures,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. More power to them.
Yeah, you do wonder because, like, for the Steve Buscemi and Henry Winkler
A
ad,
fine Buscemi.
fine, a Buscemi. Would you like a more Buscemi on your pasta?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, for like 5 minutes worth of work, let's say 30. Let's be generous. Let's say they were
Yeah.
in the booth for 30 minutes delivering 30 seconds worth of dialogue.
Hmm.
Yeah, easily six figures. And then you've paid for your pool renovation
Exactly.
or what, or, you know, an entire college career.
Sure. And so I like and I respect and I am jealous of the concept of like, I need some walking around cash. Hey, Geico. Uh,
You doing anything weird with animals that maybe John Travolta can get in on?
hmm
Uh,
exactly. And so like, I'm all for celebrities doing a little ad to
yeah,
get some spending money.
yeah. But
But
the podcast,
podcasting, get out.
yeah, the podcasting makes a lot of sense because I too, I've never thought about it, but now that you pointed out, I'm pretty fucking angry about the fact that celebrities can just, it's like we're out on a little dinghy in the
Hmm.
river that is podcasting.
Hmm.
And then fucking Anderson Pack decides to come out on a barge into a music podcast.
Yeah.
I could
Or
do a music podcast.
sure. Or Jason Bateman
Yeah.
and Will Arnett and Sean Hayes come up in their fucking cruise ship and they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we own the podcasting river now, and we
Yeah.
are going to win awards for it, and we're also going to get those big sponsorship numbers so that you, Luke and Sam, can't."
Because here's the deal with podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie knows a lot more about this as someone that produces audio fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Quick shout out to Faustian Nonsense. They do great stuff like Super Suits, a
Mm-hmm.
great podcast, legal drama, legal comedy, excuse me. Um, we're all sharing the same $5
Yes.
as poor podcasters. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have the $5 bill, other times somebody else has the $5 bill. We just sort
Mm-hmm.
of pass it around.
Yeah. To give you folks an idea of how lucrative this is for us nobody no name poors. I was doing my taxes the other day and we do not earn enough money to report it.
Not only that, I'm pretty confident. I don't think we're underwater through movie rentals,
Oh,
but
I
is
think we are.
is it
i
close?
I really think we are, because think about it, it's $4 to $5 per movie rental. We
Yeah.
didn't have a Patreon until what, like a year and a half in.
Yeah, like season two. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are underwater on movie rentals. I feel pretty confident that
Yeah.
we're in the negatives in a big way.
And to be clear, this is not a cash grab where I'm going to encourage you to go to patreon.com/HanksyPanksy and throw us a very little amount of money to get a ton of content. No, no, no,
Hmm.
no. This is a big middle finger to Jason Bateman,
Yes.
is what this is.
Hmm. Now, do I agree with Jason Bateman about say pooping habits? Yes, I do. I
Yeah.
think Jason Bateman is right on the money, which is you should poop one time a day,
Yeah.
and it should be in the morning, and then you should shower afterward. He is correct in that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have said before that I don't know what to say to that.
I mean, I think the only thing to say is, my God, Sam, you've cracked the code and you're correct.
Yeah, here, here. Aye, Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, as a person with celiac, I regrettably
Yeah, well,
cannot.
not all of us can be, more highly evolved.
Yeah, I just like the idea of me struggling not to shit um after I get gluten because Sam and Jason
Hmm.
Bateman told me himself that I should only be going to the toilet once a day.
In the morning before you shower.
Yeah, Michael Bluth
Hmm.
told me. Um, yeah, so that's a really good point about podcasting. It really is the great equalizer, isn't it?
I wish.
I wish, or rather, the barrier to entry for podcasting, folks, we've honed our craft.
Sure.
Yeah, we've been deep in the podcast mines
Mm,
for years now,
yeah.
and then fucking Julia Louis Dreyfus gets to drop out of the ether
Hmm.
with a podcast, make millions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's infuriating. Sam,
Yeah.
how was your watch?
Deeply disrespectful.
Yeah,
I either fed or played with my son like the whole time.
nice,
Did give him a bath at one point. I did at one point leave the room to get some water while the movie was still on.
nice.
Perfectly happy doing that. I was on my phone kind of a lot. Um, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I do want to talk about is our TV, Luke.
Okay, yeah, because
The
given that we have the same television,
We have the same television.
yeah,
Though I think mine is whatever.
I think yours
Um,
is 5 inches bigger. But you
yeah,
know, a size isn't everything.
I would say those 5 inches count.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, you do have more where it matters.
they're the 5 inches that really come in handy. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
So our TV, the
yeah.
picture quality, exquisite.
Oh, it's to die for.
Just the shapeliness of the television, beautiful.
Yeah.
The functionality, not great, leaving a lot to be desired because I have had nothing but issues with the HDMI inputs on this motherfucker.
I
The
see.
the number of times that it will go to static and then just come back and either give me an invalid format
Hmm.
error message that will only go away once I turn it off, wait a little bit, and then turn it back on. Um, or sometimes when I boot up the Xbox, it will be an 800 by 600
Which is
resolution.
that's Xbox 360 numbers right there.
Not even. The 360 was 720p. That's original Xbox numbers.
Yeah, them's original Xbox numbers.
So what I have to do with that is I have to turn the TV off and wait 5 minutes and then turn it back on. But oftentimes what'll happen is it'll come back on and the resolution will be right, but it will no longer recognize the HDMI input for my sound bar. So then I have to turn it off again, wait 5 more minutes, turn it back on, and then it'll all sync up. Sometimes. Other times I'll switch the audio input to try to get it to recognize the sound bar and it'll blink and then go right back to 800 by 600. Or like when I tried to watch this film, it I hit play and Microsoft says, hold on, you need a special HDMI cord that has whatever content sharing privileges, whatever the fuck." And it's like, I do have that. I watch movies here all the time, Bill.
Yeah.
So I have to exit the movie, try to play it again, and it goes, "I don't think you got the right HDMI cord for this." And
I'm looking at this thing and
I'm
I don't
like,
know, man.
I'm like, Bill Gates, this is literally the HDMI cord you gave me when I paid you for the Xbox.
Yeah.
And so I have to turn the TV off. I have to wait 5 minutes. I have to turn it back on, and then it's like, oh, this HDMI cord, A plus, totally fine.
Checks out. Jesus Christ, my dude.
It is infuriating.
Yeah, I've had none of these issues.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I wish I could like sympathize with you and we could share notes here.
Mm-hmm.
But other than weird, yeah, I mean, it didn't recognize my Xbox for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I had that happen once, and then I did wait 5 minutes and turn it back on, and it worked,
Yeah.
which appears to be the secret sauce for you. Jesus, though, that is.
It is either my HDMI cord, which I just
Mhm.
need to get a different one, but it's kind of hard to get like a good reliable one. Sometimes they're
Yeah,
shitty. Or it's the actual HDMI ports on the TV.
yeah.
But I will tell you, I would think twice before getting an LG again. Because
Damn.
I never had these issues when I had a Samsung. Now, would I
Yeah.
get a Samsung refrigerator?
I was
No,
about,
I'd rather
yeah.
get hit by a truck.
I was about to say, as a former owner of a Samsung refrigerator, that
Hmm.
required de-icing, and by that I mean getting a steamer
Mm-hmm.
and an ice pick, and between the two of those, shoveling out like a Minnesota yearly precipitation's worth of ice
Yeah.
out of the ice maker,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just stopped working.
Yeah. My sister and brother-in-law have a Samsung refrigerator, and they despise it.
Yeah, they fucking suck. So,
Mm-hmm.
but their TVs
Their
and their
TV's
phones,
very good. They treat me well.
yeah, consumer electronics. And
Mm-hmm.
plus, your TV doesn't have the LG. This is like deep cut first world
Mm-hmm.
problems. Does it have the magic wand thingy?
It does. Yeah.
It's like kinetic, where it will like,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being a clicker like everyone wants it to be,
Yeah. They decided they saw the Wiimote and they said, okay,
we have peaked as far as human usability goes.
we'll call your bet. Um, yeah, so it has that though. There was an update, and now
Oh,
I cannot use the remote to navigate the Xbox because I used to
okay.
be able to do that.
Whoa.
And now I cannot. And it is very frustrating because I then have to use the controller,
Yeah.
and then that runs down the batteries, and it's a whole thing. This is terrible podcasting, but you know what isn't, Luke?
What's
It's
that?
everyone's favorite game show within a
Oh,
podcast. It's Loan, Leave, or Love. I'm having to be quiet because I put my son down for a nap right before this.
yeah. I was gonna say, between you being quiet and me just kind of being sleepy,
Mm-hmm.
folks, this is a chill episode.
A chill episode.
This one and the movie we're gonna get into, but if you're thinking we're gonna ramp it up when we start
No,
talking about Destination Wedding, probably
no,
not.
no,
Yeah,
definitely not.
yeah,
So, Lonely for Love, of course, is the podcast, or game show within a podcast. I watched 50, started 51 movies during my parental leave, and I either watched them alone, I dipped out of them, or I watched them with the love of my wife, my wife.
my wife.
And so, Luke, I will give you three movies, and you have to pick which one is which.
Yeah.
So, I have for you today
Mm-hmm.
Drumline, a new beat.
I was gonna say we already did Drumline.
Yes, but this is the sequel. Um, The Blackening or Extraction 2.
Okay, the only one I'm not familiar with, I didn't know they made an Extraction too. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is the Blackening?
The Blackening is like uh it's let me try to fit. It's kind of like it's an all black cast. It's kind of a parody, kind of a play on like your typical horror movie,
Okay.
but like kind of playing with all the like tropes of like black characters in horror movies.
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, I remember
Yes.
seeing the trailer for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that would look pretty good. All right. I think I have an idea here.
Okay.
I don't like it, but I think
Mm-hmm.
this is how it shakes out.
Uh-huh. Would you like a descriptor of Drumline 2 A New Beat?
It sounds like you want to give it to me.
I do
So,
actually. I
okay,
really,
yeah,
really
hit me.
do. So
Fuck yeah,
Drumline
dude, hit
2
me with it.
A New Beat is obviously a sequel to Drumline.
Yeah.
And it follows a young woman who's going to college as a percussionist.
Yeah.
Um, she notably, in a difference from the original Drumline, the actor cannot play drums at all. Whereas Nick Cannon actually learned how to drum,
Yeah.
at least a little. Like for some of the more like technical stuff, they had a double. She can't do it at all, and this is not a knock against her. This is a knock against the production because they do not edit this well at all.
Amazing.
Because it's just her like kind of like doing this basically, like just kind of like moving her arms up and down, and then it'll
Yeah.
cut to someone doing some of the most intense fucking stick work I've ever seen.
Amazing.
Um, and she goes to the same college that Nick Cannon went to in the original Drumline. Nick Cannon's rival turned best friend is now the head of the band program
Okay.
at there. And then, of course, Nick Cannon does show up at one point. He is now an incredibly successful music producer, and he's king shit of fuck mountain.
And he has 20 kids.
He has 35 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, it also sounds like you watched all of it.
Who's to say? I could
Who's
have
to
looked
say?
some of that up on IMDb now, couldn't I?
That's true. Which does sort of skew what I was thinking, because this felt like a layup until you gave me the full plot of Drumline 2. A
A
new
new
beat?
beat. A new
Yeah.
beat. Yes.
Um, all right, here's what I'm thinking. I think the Blackening you watched with Kenna, because I know that my dear friend and your wife quite enjoys horror movies.
Yeah.
And I feel like that sounds up her alley
Hmm.
as far as something that you guys might consume together. So I'm thinking that's the together.
Okay.
Here's where things get tricky,
Hmm.
because I know that you watched, liked, and finished Extraction Numero Uno.
Yes. After
After
initially dipping on it.
after initially dipping, you did return to the buffet,
Hmm.
sample more of, and eventually finish Extraction.
Yes.
In fact, I think you wrecked it on this, like
I did.
REC apostrophe D did.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of excited to go see that movie at this
You
point.
absolutely should. If like, I know you're going camping later today, you should cancel your plans. You should boot up the old Netflix, and
Yeah.
you should watch Extraction.
If I were cool, I would rip it to a DVD, get one of those like portable DVD players, and then in my tent later today, watch Extraction on a bootleg DVD in the middle of the woods.
So can I tell you something about those little portable DVD players?
Yeah, please.
There was a period of time where my dad didn't have a lot of work,
Mhm.
but he still had to show up to work in order to get paid, but they didn't have anyone scheduled for him to see.
Yeah.
So he had to show up and just sit there for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And he did start bringing up a portable DVD player and watching movies in his office, because what the fuck else was he gonna do?
Yeah.
The amount of emails that I started receiving from my dad that were just like, what you up to? What you doing during that
which
period of time?
which dates this experience so hard,
Mhm.
because you're receiving emails from your father instead of like a text or a
Mhm.
FaceTime invite or whatever. And
Exactly.
your awesome dad, who I dearly love, is sitting there with a stack of DVDs and a portable DVD player, just housing film after film.
Bored out of his fucking mind, but having to show up to get paid.
Yeah. Damn, dude, that is really funny. So I bet I could borrow on my way out of town his portable DVD
He
player.
probably
He's
probably still has it. Yeah.
probably got a stack of DVDs that I could borrow. Um, yeah, he's probably got like the original Expendables or something.
Hmm.
Uh, maybe the Prestige.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So to loop it back, Blackening, I think you did together. I think you dipped on Drumline too. I also kind of suspect that you watched that one together and
Hmm.
then dipped. And then I have a suspicion that you actually enjoyed and pushed through Extraction too.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
You're 1 for 3.
Oh, seriously? I
Hmm.
thought I had that one.
No, sir. No. I did watch Extraction 2 by myself, and I didn't have to push through it at all. It's a fucking romp, let me tell you.
That
Can,
is awesome.
can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Little teeny little spoiler.
Yeah.
to get you nice and hard for it.
Yeah.
Idris Elba shows up.
Oh, what?
Yeah, yeah, he's in there. He's in the
Holy
mix.
shit.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
gotta be watching Extraction.
you gotta watch Extraction. It's so fucking good. So I watched that by myself, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, we watched Drumline 2, a new
Drum
beat.
Time 2, a new
Drum
beat.
Drum Time 2, a two beat. Um, together, and we watched the whole thing. It is utterly wretched. We wanted to leave. However, Luke, I paid for it. And
Oh, okay.
so I didn't want to leave because I had spent money on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know that. That would have
Yeah,
colored things.
it
Yeah.
is terrible. It made kind of physically angry.
Yeah.
Um, the blackening we dipped out on. Did not. It wasn't. We thought it was going to be like jokier,
Mm.
and it was not. Which
Interesting.
which
Yeah.
was not what we were like looking for. But for an extra point, would you like to guess how long we made it into the blackening?
I'm gonna say 30 minutes.
Ooh, so close. 20.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're in that headspace,
Mm-hmm.
you want to explore. That's like reading the first 50 pages of a book,
Yeah.
right? Like you want
Mm-hmm.
to poke it enough to be like, yeah, okay, this isn't going where I thought it was going.
Yeah.
Um, damn, that's kind of disappointing. But on the upside, I now have to go watch Extraction and report back.
You absolutely do. I will be disappointed. Which would compound with the disappointment that I have that you have yet to consume Jiffy Pop, you motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, I just keep forgetting. Also, it's incredibly expensive to get it off Amazon.
I do not care.
This is why we're poor, because I have to
Exactly.
order $35 Jiffy Pop off of Amazon. Now
It's
I'll go
several
to
packs of Jiffy Pop.
True. I'll go to Kroger and we'll explore the space and see if
Yeah.
I can't acquire. It's just gonna be popcorn, my dude.
Yeah, but I don't care about the popcorn part. I don't like
Yeah,
popcorn anymore. It's the popping
yeah.
experience.
Plus,
Hmm.
if I burnt my house down and then someone stabbed me to death,
Hmm.
it'd be pretty funny.
Pretty funny.
It'd be pretty good.
Pretty funny. I don't know who'd edit these episodes anymore.
Yeah.
But it would be pretty funny.
Yeah. If you just popped on next week and we're like, funny thing, Luke got the Jiffy Pop.
His house is no more, and neither is he.
He got a spam call or an unlisted number, and for
Hmm.
some reason, this lunatic answered it.
Now, I want to push back on the lunacy of doing that. I answer every phone call I get.
You do fuck with the spammers,
I
though.
do fuck with them a lot.
Yeah.
One time I got a call for like the senior benefits, and I did tell them I was dying. Um,
What'd they say?
they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Uh, Mostly though, it's people who want to buy my house, and I tell them that I've installed a drain in every room of the house, like a slaughterhouse.
Mm.
Um,
We were watching, I want to say Little Buddha. Wasn't that the name of the movie?
mhm.
At your house, you received one of these calls. I watched agog as you confidently told the man on the other end of the line that you had ghosts, that the
That's
house
what
was
I
not
did.
for sale because it was haunted. And this motherfucker played in the space.
They often do. It's the best part is that they will really play in the space with you for a while.
It makes you, because they're working off a script, it makes you wonder if there's a script page for has
Ghosts.
ghosts.
I mean, I once told a guy that I had a thatched roof because they're always like, "What improvements did you make? Like, how old is the roof?" And I'm like, "Oh, the roof is pretty new." And they're like, "Oh, like what kind of?" And I was like, "A thatch." I replaced it with a thatch roof, and the guy obviously clocked it immediately and was like, "Really?" it's a thatched roof. And I was like, uh-huh, it's very drafty and my house is wet.
Which on the one hand, it sucks because these people aren't the problem, right?
No.
It's the investment groups they work for
Yes.
that are evil,
Mm-hmm.
just evil. But you are keeping them from calling someone who might actually be scammed by this.
I'm keeping them from calling someone else. And I like to think brightening their day up a little bit.
Because yeah,
I'm never mean to them.
no,
I'm never mean to them. I'm just trying to brighten their day by describing, I don't know, a haunted abattoir, which
mm-hmm.
I have attempted to sell. Um, or try to convince them that I have victims chained up in a basement
Yeah,
underneath my house. Um, or it's just a lot, really. And I like to think that they're like, half the time I'm getting cursed out, half the time people just hang up on me immediately.
yeah.
Then every once in a blue moon, I get someone who tells me that they have a thatched roof and they put a toilet in their kitchen. And that's why I do this work.
That's why I get out of bed in the morning. I like to
Mhm.
think that at least one person has redialed your number because they had a particularly shitty day and they were like, you know what? Let me
I
call
gotta
up Ghost Boy
I gotta
again.
call up the ghost guy.
Let me see what's going on at Ghost Guy's house because I bet it's better than the person who just yelled at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh, it's a good time.
You can
It's
really act, my guy. You got the chops for it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
The random phone calls are my stage.
Yeah.
But speaking of actors, what's the plot of Destination Wedding?
Oh, it felt so good to have a movie last week where I could do Luke Patrick's patented 3 act structure, your money
Hmm.
back guarantee. I can't do it this week. Sam, here's what happens in this movie. Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, who are we'll talk about it.
Both actors.
Both actors. They're both actors, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Um, are I want to say curmudgeons, but that's not edge lord enough. They
No.
are,
Can I give you a term that I was using?
yeah,
The two most insufferable hipsters.
the two most insufferable hipsters on the planet. They are going to a destination wedding and they
Hmm.
meet at the airport. They don't like each other. They meet on the airplane again. They're sitting next to each other. They don't like each other. They figure out they're going to the same wedding. They don't like each other. They continue to not like each other and other people.
Hmm.
And eventually they run into a mountain lion, which Keanu scares off. They end up on the ground together. They fuck. Now they kind of like each other. There's lots of talking. There's
Hmm.
so much talking. And then the movie ends when they get back to wherever they're from. Um, and she shouts her address because they agreed not to exchange information because
Hmm.
Keanu doesn't think it's going to work out. She shouts her address at the cab driver, and he's like, "Why would you do that? Don't give him your full address. You don't know this guy." And she's like, "Take the hint, guy." And
Hmm.
then Keanu Reeves shows up at her door later, and then she smiles,
And the movie ends.
and the movie ends. It is an hour and 21 minutes long.
I haven't clocked it an hour 26.
Okay, sure, whatever.
No, I need to know, did I watch an extra 5 minutes of this movie that I didn't need to?
I don't think so. I think I'm wrong.
God,
Um,
I will be mad if I somehow accidentally stumbled on the extended edition.
yeah. If you were wondering at home, by the way, the time to Keanu, the TTK on this bad boy is 0 seconds.
Hmm.
It
It's
opens
immediate.
on him.
Hmm.
And the time to Winona is bewilderingly about 30 seconds later
Yeah.
because the movie starts with him at the airport. Sam, I have a word for this one. What's your word?
This movie is too talky.
Yeah, this movie is insufferable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll even Burn a couple other words.
Okay, yeah, we're coming up on the end of the season,
Yeah.
baby.
Fart wafty. A drag. This movie fucking sucks.
Yeah, fart wafty is my favorite of those because that's the vibe for an hour and 26 minutes. Because, okay, well, I want to knock a couple things out really quick.
Yeah.
To start with, there are two people in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be thinking, they're at the airport. There's got to be extras. There are five of them, and they are standing in place statically like furniture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most extras outside of the wedding
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to see. Now, there are two people in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
It's wretched. It's so
Yeah.
bad. I don't know about you, but like very quickly, all their conversations started sounding like adults and Charlie Brown to me.
Yeah.
Where like
Because,
I
yeah.
couldn't listen. I could not make my brain engage with the words falling out of their fucking skulls. And so every scene was just womp 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 womp
Yeah.
womp 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 womp.
Because here's the problem there's two people, and you're thinking, well, you didn't describe a lot of plot there, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
I did not, because it's talking. The whole movie is them talking to each other.
Yeah.
And it's at a breakneck speed.
It's so it's so the words per minute. It's excruciating.
Yes. It's,
It's they
yeah.
talk so fast and nothing they say is interesting because they're the worst people.
They're so insufferable. Like I love the description of them as insufferable hipsters.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say shit bags.
Also accurate.
Because they're just all they do is complain and talk about
Mm-hmm.
their problems
Mm-hmm.
and be antagonistic to each other and to everybody else.
Yes. And like they hate everyone. They
Yeah.
seem to also hate themselves.
Oh, big time.
And they use too many big words.
Which is confusing because the problem is if you have two people in like a romantic comedy, for lack of a better
Mm-hmm.
word, kind of situation, they should be different characters. These folks,
Are the same person.
they're the same, down to the fact that the dialogue is the same quippy, snappy, highly educated dialogue.
But like overly so. So it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like grounded or believable at all.
No.
It just feels like the writer, Victor Fuckface, or
Yeah.
whatever his last name is, was like addicted to his thesaurus.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes a thesaurus is a bad thing.
Yeah. I checked out, I cannot remember for the life of me the exact quote, but they're at the I checked it out at the airport. So we're talking 3 minutes in.
Oh my god.
Because Keanu has stepped up to be beside Winona Ryder. Then he
Mm-hmm.
steps in front of her slightly to get away from her.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes this into a huge deal about him trying to jump the line. There is no line. There's five people here. It's an
Yeah.
8-seater airplane.
Yeah, folks, I know you're wondering, what kind of plane is it? Well, I'm glad you asked. It looks like it might be a Cessna 208 Caravan, I believe.
Oh,
Um, but I think that's not right. I want to say there's a plane very similar to that that's called like a Kodiak. I want to
okay.
say it looks more like that. It doesn't quite have the Cessna like chunky cheeks. I feel like a Cessna has like kind of fat cheeks.
Okay. Okay.
Whereas
Okay.
like the Kodiak, and this may not be the right word. It may not be Kodiak. It may be something else.
Sure.
But it has a slimmer snoot. And that is honestly the most interesting thing about the movie is what kind of plane is this?
I just remembered I should have texted you about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting at our lovely local coffee shop that's downtown by the river that I love so much.
Mm-hmm.
I was right next to this guy, and he runs into an older gentleman who goes, "Oh, hey, I didn't know you were back in town, Sam. These two people are bush pilots."
I'm Luke.
Yeah,
Why did you not tell me about
I
this?
don't know because, dude, they talked shop.
Oh God.
Because the younger guy, had been flying bush transit
Mm-hmm.
and cargo up in Alaska,
Oh God.
which is why the older guy was surprised to see his boots in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
God damn it.
and he had a plane, which is
Yeah.
not a surprise, but he was talking about fixing up this plane that he flew down from Alaska and how he's going to sell it and get a different plane. And they talked about parts and engines.
Oh, Luke, stop talking. I'm already hard.
I wish you had been there because you would have lost your goddamn nut.
Jesus. I mean, I'm
But
about to now.
yeah, but I should have texted you. I don't. I just heard it. Went, oh, bush pilots,
God
and didn't
damn
think
it.
about who I was dealing with here.
There's a game on Steam that seems like the development has stalled out and it's never going to be released. It is Bush Pilot Simulator, and I want it so bad,
Yeah,
but I think it's never going to come out. And I'm sad about this.
yeah, that makes sense that you would be sad about it. That sounds
But
pretty perfect.
yeah, you checked out that early, huh?
I checked out as soon as he said. He turns to her and he says something about how she thinks he's doing a big Machiavellian plot to seize a land, like create a land grab
Mm-hmm.
or something. And I just thought, fuck this.
I really tried. I
Mhm.
really tried to hang with this flick.
Yeah.
Um, and I pushed through. I had one moment that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But I just could not make myself pay attention to it. For some reason I couldn't get the synapses to engage.
Yeah.
But the one thing I liked was when they were on the plane and they realized that they knew each other through another person and that they
Mm.
were going to the same wedding. I thought that part was kind of funny
Yeah.
and was okay. And that's the best I have to say about this movie.
I'll say this. I'm thinking about it. There's like 5 sets in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, they shot it, speaking of five, for $5 million, which is the movie equivalent of $20 in a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Um, $5 million. It returned 2 million at the box office. It was a dismal failure.
Uh-huh.
Um, it has about 5 sets for an
Yeah.
hour, almost hour and a half long movie, which I want to talk about the length on this puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, they spend. I went back and rewound the movie to see exactly how long they're getting their like foot massages
Mm-hmm.
at the hotel, I guess.
Who knows?
Um, it's 10 minutes. They're in the same room talking at each other for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Jesus.
And
See,
then later, yeah, go ahead.
oh no, no, no. You keep going.
Okay, because later, after they fuck, they go back to one of their rooms
Mm-hmm.
and they're just in bed together. Do you want to take a guess how long they're in bed talking at each other?
Look, it felt like 4 years.
25 minutes.
Oh my God. Yeah, Kenna was in the room with me while I watched it. She hated it,
Yeah.
obviously. In fact, she suggested that I should just stop watching and lie that I
Yeah.
watched the whole thing. Tempting as it was, I did not.
Honestly, would have been yeah.
But she was like, it's just Keanu at the airport, Keanu at the hotel, Keanu at the wedding, Keanu back at the hotel, Keanu back at the airport. It like that's
Yeah.
it. And it's just cut, 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 cut.
Yeah. It's the movie is trying to be this like quippy sideways style, like, or like archery kind of like really rapid fire dialogue with lots of references.
Hmm.
The part I hated the most, this is the opposite of like a worst idea of all time style
Hmm.
shining light. This is a darkest hour.
This is your brown note.
This is my brown note. We see them having sex to completion.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
That was a real brown note.
yeah, that was a huge brown note because they're talking. You might think surely they're taking a break of the
No.
yapping. No, they're talking, and she's saying, no, 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 no. And
Hmm.
he says, what's wrong? Aren't you enjoying this? And she said, I am. I'm just a very negative person. And I thought to myself, I'd rather be dead
Yeah.
than watch the rest of this. But here we are.
It's fucking grim because even though, like, it is explicitly stated that she A wanted to have sex and B is enjoying it, having a person in a sexual encounter screaming no, 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 no is pretty unpleasant.
It's extremely unpleasant. Yeah. On top of the fact that I kind of hate both of these people to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. Um, they are the villains in this movie that has no other characters.
Yeah.
Though I have something to talk about with that. But yeah, the whole time they're still talking, and he's like talking about his mom a
A lot.
lot,
Kind of a lot.
kind of a lot. Just the whole oh god, and the whole sexual encounter is terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible to watch. I refuse to believe that either of them actually came because
Yeah.
it looks like they're not enjoying it, even though they're
No.
saying that they are.
They're like
Um,
arguing over who was at the deli first. But they're
yes,
having sex.
and you hear his vinegar strokes,
Yeah.
and it's terrible. I thought if you'd asked me at the beginning of this movie, at the beginning of this season, you're gonna hear Keanu Reeves come. I would have been pretty excited.
Yeah.
I would have been pretty fucking excited. Instead, I heard him come yesterday, and it made me want to cry.
Mm-hmm.
And not tears of joy, Luke. This
Yeah.
isn't how I wanted it.
What does she say about his face as well? Doesn't she say it looks like you're about to vomit or something?
Yeah. Yeah, and he says he is, but not because of how she looks.
Yeah.
Which I I don't understand. I've never had a sexual encounter in which I've enjoyed myself so much that I've felt like I was about to vomit. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm doing it wrong. I don't know.
this fucking guy, this movie. Yeah, do you have anything you want to talk about with this guy?
I have a couple things.
Yeah.
I will say that Keanu having sex is like Tom pissing. It happens, I swear to God, in every movie now.
Yeah, except for the John Wicks
Yeah.
johnwicks.com. Easily make a website that
Hmm.
will murder lots of people. John Wick movies because he's too busy doing gun fu.
Yeah, he's too busy fucking people up.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he fucks a lot. This guy's a real fuck beast.
He's a real fuck machine. And it made, oh, I was gonna say it made more sense when he was younger, but it makes a lot of sense now because he's a great looking dude,
He's a good looking guy.
but he keeps doing it in weird ways.
Yeah, it makes me wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of what his whole scene is like
Mm,
on a personal level because it seems weird.
yeah.
And like, look, well, I guess I'm explicitly here to judge people's journey, huh?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. Well, he does apparently have a pretty cock. Winona Ryder says that he has a good looking dick. Straight, s- uh, solidly straight, just the right length and girth.
Okay.
I like to think that this is true of Keanu himself, that just got a cock straight as an arrow.
Yeah. So is that legit that she got to see his penis at some point in this movie?
The character?
Oh wait, yeah, sorry, the character,
Yeah,
yes.
the character tells him that he has a pretty penis.
Yeah, okay. Because I thought for a second we were talking about that stupid scene, because there's no reason in the world that they needed to be even remotely nude for that scene.
No,
Because we don't see anything.
no.
Um, and I was going to be like, that means that they did not hire an intimacy coordinator or even have those like little privacy cups on
They
set.
just dick out.
That's how broke they were. They were
Hmm.
like,
I don't know, Keanu. Can you just whip your beautiful cock out?
yeah, I can't afford the $20 on Amazon it would cost to get some of these like privacy cup things.
Hmm. Or
So we're
just a
gonna just
sock that you had laying around.
just a Red Hot Chili Peppers style cock sock.
Hmm.
We're just gonna cover that up. No, okay, I'm tracking now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um.
I imagine yes. If you put a level on this guy and check the angles,
Mhm.
straight as can be,
Yeah.
perfectly
Oh.
even.
Oh yeah. Um. So I I I had a thought about this
Yeah.
because I was trying to latch on to anything because I have two options for a favorite character in this movie.
Okay.
And I'm curious who your favorite character was. I'll go ahead and give you my two:
Okay.
the mountain lion
Uh-huh.
or the water wheel outside of the hotel.
Interesting.
I thought incredibly compelling characters. They seem to have a nice sort of internal life.
Yeah.
Far more likable than Keanu and Winona.
Well, you can say this about the mountain lion.
Hmm.
It has clear objectives and desires, which is what
Hmm.
you want in any character.
I was rooting for the mountain lion to maul them both.
Yeah, the mountain lion wants to A, protect territory, and B,
Hmm.
eat them.
Yes.
So that's clear and understandable. I'm right on board with that.
Yeah.
Um, favorite character, I think, is the guy at the very end when Keanu is standing at the airport
Oh yeah.
and
He's
he lets
yes.
bizarrely all of the other cabs pass by
Hmm.
and then is standing there like, what? There's no cab? My dude,
Hmm.
my brother and Moses, you let them go.
Yeah.
You passed like five of them.
Yeah. Incredible stuff.
And this guy who has no lines like everybody else in this movie,
We don't
literally
even see his
nobody,
face.
no, no face, no lines like every other extra in this movie, walks up and stands there. And the only good joke in this movie is Keanu looks at him and they kind of have a beat and he goes, so do you have like a whistle or
Mhm.
the only time I laughed in this movie.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
mostly because of the comedic timing of a person who did not speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. The last thing I'm gonna say about this movie
Yeah.
is that it reminded me of this wretched, utterly wretched waste of time avant-garde play that I had to see back in undergrad
I
for a
see.
class in
Yeah.
which one of the opening scenes is character comes out, grabs a lampshade, puts it on his head, and says, "I am a lamp." And then a few minutes later says, "If you're going to talk to me, talk loud." And Kenna was with me back then, and when she heard "I am a lamp," she very loudly went, "Ugh." It was awful.
Amazing.
It was so bad, and this reminded me of it so much because it so desperately wants to be cool and
Yeah.
edgy, and it just is terrible. Luke.
Something, man, I gotta say, local theater can
Mm-hmm.
surprise you
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you go, I've been to some local productions before.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting on the best like Phantom of the Opera you've ever seen or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Their Lion King is off the chain. And then other times they do little plays by unknown people who have
Mm-hmm.
lots of complaints about life.
Mm-hmm. And
And
are
it's
unknown for a reason.
It's like it scratches the same itch as watching a B movie, but it's live and incredibly awkward and it's amazing. So
Yes.
you kind of can't go wrong with local theater.
I would say we did go wrong with this undergrad play. It
Yeah.
was a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love local theater. Have seen some really good plays at the theater here. Have stopped going since someone in a focus group did a racism to my wife.
Yeah.
And the theater people did not really apologize for it. But that's another story. Instead, Luke,
Mm-hmm.
it's mealtime.
Oh my God. A little bright note.
A little bitty bright note. And this comes to us from Daniel. And the subject line is in all caps. I'm not gonna shout it because my son might still be asleep. I don't know, probably not. Breakfast Wizzy. It's like 100 Z's.
I'm into it. Let's fucking go.
Daniel writes, grits. Sam, tell Luke grits. Little bit of that Tony's Creole seasoning. Fry up an egg over easy and toss it in. Slice of American cheese or Gouda if you want to be fancy while finishing up the grits. If you do the quick grits, cook them for a minute longer. Make sure you stir the water while you sprinkle the grits in so they don't clump. Let me tell you, it's fire.
All right, let's get into it,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel. Daniel and I bonded. We used to work together a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
back in the glory days. And we bonded over the fact that he and I both are Southern dudes,
Mm-hmm.
people from the South, grew up in the South, that have diaspora to other places.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've never talked about grits. So this is my by proxy way of talking to you, Daniel, about grits.
Okay. I will be I guess your medium.
Yeah, you are the microphone. You are the
Mm-hmm.
menorah that I'm going to scream at. There's a deep cut joke. Um, yeah, so basically, I grew up eating grits and
Mm-hmm.
I got really sick of them.
That happens.
Yeah, because they're kind of sawdusty.
They
Uh,
can be for sure.
if you do them badly. I have since experienced. I was served grits with a breakfast platter that I got, or a brunch platter, a while back, and I did eat them, and it
Mm-hmm.
was a pleasant experience. So I think I will heed these words of wisdom and give this specific version of grits a go.
There you go.
So yeah, I will
Okay.
report back. We'll have to have the breakfast wizard back. God help us,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll talk about grits and my experiences therein.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't look forward to being possessed by the breakfast wizard and having to clean up all the syrup
There's so
uh
much syrup.
that he drips on the floor.
Yeah.
But you know, should be good a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll report back.
Luke, let's talk about what we're watching next week.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah, so next week we will be watching 2018's Replicas.
Okay.
What do you think this one's about?
FedEx Kinkos.
Mm,
Yeah, I think Keanu, I think it's like an office space style comedy
mm-hmm,
where Keanu Reeves is the manager, maybe owner of a FedEx Kinkos
mm-hmm.
franchise. And someone comes in and needs a lot of copies.
Ooh.
Like a lot of them. Like, give
Oh.
me all the paper you have level of
Oh
copies.
shit.
And it's about them trying to get this together and get the order in place. Yeah, that's what I think it's. What do you think it's about?
Replicas is a movie in which Keanu Reeves plays an artist who exclusively replicates Thomas Kincaid paintings for dentists' offices.
Amazing. I would watch the shit out of that.
I would not touch it with a 10-foot fucking pole.
The Thomas Kincaid is what really clenches it for me. That's perfect. That is so pitch perfect.
Ah, fuck. Well, until then, folks, thanks for listening to another episode of Hanksy Panksy. You can find us on Facebook at Hanksy Panksy Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Hanksy Panksy Pod. You can send us an email at hankspanksy@gmail.com. We're over on Blue Sky at something like Hanksy Panksy. We're on Reddit too, whatever. Um, We also have Patreon, patreon.com/HanksyPanksy. We got a lot of fun stuff over there. Luke and I are cooking up some ideas of some things that we can start doing for that. You check us enough money, you can be one of Hanks' heroes like talking Daniel Fellas. I won't talk to you. And let me
Yeah.
tell you, after an hour and a fucking half of this movie, that is a gift.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Luke, do you have a final quote?
I
I
do.
know, I know the dialogue's a little thin on the ground on this one.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna spice it up. I was doing like my own line reads.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do a thing that Keanu says, but in the style of like the dying words of a Western movie villain.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, I'm all fucked up, and I always will be.
So good. Folks, thanks for listening to another episode of Hanksy Panksy. Honor Among Reeves. We'll be back next week with 2018's replicas.